Hey love lovers, hello everyone. I am answering your questions today. Some of your questions, there's a whole lot. So I just chose a few questions, frequently asked questions, and I'll be doing that today. I tried my live early on because I would like to do live or streaming, in the future, in the near future. So I was testing that, and if you guys got notifications, sorry about that, but there's no other way to test it but to be live, right? So in any case, I just don't like, I don't like to receive too many notifications. And so I also think that other people don't like to receive too many notifications too, right? So what I don't like, I just assume that, it's possible that other people get irritated too. So I don't like to do that. I don't like to send stuff that sends out too many notifications. Hence, I asked you guys that you could not switch off your notifications, and then when you remember the channel, then you come back, or maybe you see us on your timeline. It doesn't bother me because for me we are a research hub, and seekers will seek us. Right. Anyway, thank you so much for being here and for your questions. So I'm going to start with some of the things I've already covered, when it comes to these questions. I've already covered them through videos in the past. For example, somebody asked me what aspects make a long-term relationship, so we've already talked about this, but as a reminder, number one, you definitely need to see certain making some connection to either your ascendant or your seventh house. I also enjoy it when it goes to the eighth house, right? But there are obviously delays with the eighth house, because eighth house itself is like longevity, and when it does happen quicker than normal, then I've seen it happening in fire signs, or when Saturn is retrograde. In this instant, then the Saturnian energy does not make the people wait a long time before they get into a long-term thing, right? So it makes things so quick, rush, like now, impulse, right? So that's number one. So Saturn aspecting your ascendant or aspecting your seventh house or eighth house. I also enjoy for long-term commitment. Now, when we talk about Saturn, we must remember that we're not saying that this will be a happy long-term situation, but we are saying there will be a long-term situation. But then what is a long-term? How do we measure the long-term? That would be the next question, right? From this one. Then to answer you, your degrees will tell you how long will be the long term, right? Because if Saturn is in the earlier stages, of coming into that house or aspecting that house, then you can see that Saturn has a long journey to take. However, if Saturn is already at the end of the degrees and then will quickly leave these critical houses that I'm talking about, then you can see that the long term, instead of maybe being 30 years, could be only just 2 years, right? How I always tell you guys, when you see everything on the chart, like you open the chart, you see everything. Literally give attention to everything. Give attention to the aspects, give attention to the degrees, give attention to the placement, house placement, give attention to the sign placement, and the other planets obviously around the planet that you're focusing on. Because most of the time when we are still new in Synastry, we just follow the popular astrology, like one of you guys, one of the love lovers said fast food astrology. That's how they describe the the popular astrology. So I like that, and I told one of you that I can't remember like when it was. I think it was last year, and then I said I'm gonna use it that word, fast food astrology. So basically with the fast food astrology, we get excited with the basic aspects of Venus, Mars, and I already said that I don't believe in Venus conjunct Mars already, right? But in the fast food astrology, it's something that is advertised as something as like sparkling, right? So, but in any case, so when you look at the aspects, then you can also determine the long-term part when it comes to your relationship, right? So I also like certain then when it when it's aspecting the moon in terms of long term, right? We're not saying it's going to be happy, and definitely when it comes to moon, it's not going to be happy for sure, right? Why? Because certain does not necessarily enjoy being with moon or being aspected by moon. So it gets agitated, it gets irritated, it gets annoyed, right? So because it comes out of its element, because the moon comes in with its soft nature and with its mood changing nature, whereas Saturn prefers stability, prefers things that give endurance. And therefore when moon is doing all these moony things, then the Saturnian energy becomes irritated, and it starts to be resentful, and it starts to be very criticizing or critical towards the person. Anytime when I get a hesitation in my speech, it's because another language would come in my mind, and then I get blocked because I do speak so many languages, and then at times I get blocked because one word from a certain language would just come out, and then after that I'm like like as if I can't speak, right? But anyway, so moon and Saturn, definitely they will give you a long term, and they usually bring a child when they are in the conjunction. So the long term, it doesn't mean that you're going to raise the child together, but it means that you will have the karmic connection of nurturing something or someone together, right? So I'm not even taking breaks today. I'm just going, right? And the weather is so nice, so my voice is agreeing with me today. So I am super happy. So the second question then, and what was like with the importance of ascendants in Synastry. Okay, so basically, yes, you just need to know the ascendants, because it makes you know where the attachment is happening. Because when there's a house placement, then you can give a narrowed explanation of what will happen. But normally this requires a birth time, and some people don't have their birth times, and therefore when people don't have their birth times, it does not say that they will not have a full idea or a closer to full idea of what's going to happen in their relationship. So the house placement of the dynamics, it just gives more information, right? For example, when we're talking about children, yes, we can look at the aspects and the energy around the planets, right, without the house. But then when we generally want to confirm, then we want to see the fifth house, because the fifth house represents children, right? So with the planets, we can get the information, for example, from moon to moon, moon to Venus, and then we can say, okay, there is a higher chance of having kids together. But when we see the environment or the behavior of your fifth house here, then we get to confirm, right? But also when it comes to the ascendant, we also want to see how you and your partner are physically compatible, right? Because remember, the ascendants, they describe our bodies, our appearance, our personality, how people see us, right? When people look at us, when people look at your face and your body, they see what do they see? Do they see that you're attractive? Do they see that you're fit? They are aesthetic, so this is what the ascendant is all about. But without the birth time, of course, we can't see this. However, we are not limited to determining the overall or the global situation of your relationship, right? So another question relating to I want to close with this one, because this one was problematic the last time I did it. Okay, so somebody asked me about having sun in the seventh house. Now, when it comes to having sun in the seventh house in general, in your personal chart, it gives a different result for each ascendant, because generally sun in the seventh house is not happy, right? Because here it loses its glory, it loses its confidence, it loses its pride, and here it's forced to work with other people, to be humble, to its pride, to shush its brightness here, so that it doesn't harm other people or rub up other people the wrong way, right? However, when you add the sign into the situation, then for some ascendants it could be better, because if sun goes into the seventh house that is owned by Leo by itself, or that is owned by other fire signs, this sun could still shine brighter, or could still have the confidence of saying, okay, I'm in a foreign land here, but I own my own house, I own my own resources, I don't have to go to the neighbor to ask for resources. This is my own house, I own it. Even though the land itself, like I'm in a foreign land that I don't necessarily enjoy, I'm in exile, right? But in exile, I am owning my stuff. I don't depend on other people. And then when it comes to opposite signs where it's not comfortable, like signs that are owned by Capricorn, by Saturn, for example, Capricorn, then here not only is sun in a foreign land to itself, it also doesn't own anything here. It depends on the Saturnian energy to drive it, to tell it what to do, and these things that are said by Saturn to sun are not going along with its personality, right? Because Saturn is all about serving people and sun is all about serving sun, right? So now you need to look at the sign definitely to determine how this sun in the seventh house is going to act like, right? And when it comes to overlay, same thing, same story. It's going to tell you if the partner with the sun that is making the overlay is going to feel happy, being in this relationship, being a partner to you? Are they going to feel boosted, or are they going to have confidence, or are they going to be agitated and irritated and all these things, right? But it also reflects on you too, you the ascendant, because whatever is going on with your partner, particularly because Sun is reflective in nature, it is going to reflect on your behavior too. So if Sun is not comfortable, you, the ascendant, you will start to feel insecure, you will start to feel annoyed, you will start to feel agitated and threatened, right? You're going to feel that your own glory and existence is threatened. For example, as I have said before, the story of Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni, because Justin Baldoni places his Sun in her 7th house, right? And then another question wanted me to focus on the bad aspects in Synastry, and I've already done a video on that, given some of my top 5. I think it was the top 5. So definitely the first one that I'm always skeptical about is when I see Venus conjunct Mars. Here, Venus conjunct Mars, we must understand it from the relationship of planets. Okay, I know it's a fast food astrology aspect that makes everyone get excited, but initially it's going to make you guys be attracted to each other, because opposite attract. It's natural. When you see something that you're not used to, you look at them, you gaze, you give a gaze, because you're wondering, oh, what is that is different from me, right? So this is a natural response. You see somebody who's hot, a bad boy, like you, a good girl, and then you see a bad boy. Usually good girls, they go for bad boys, right? That's how it is, like literally the Venus going for Mars, right? But when a good girl goes for a bad boy, in the long run, we hear so many sad stories. We hear about how the bad boy cheated on the good girl, about how the bad boy ruined the life of the good girl, Venus. We learn about how, even the physical appearance of the good girl has changed. Now they have gone to drugs. They started to do drugs to cope with the behavior or the expectations of the bad boy, right? It's exactly like this. So what I'm saying, just instead of good girl, just think Venus, and instead of bad boy, you just think Mars. Why? Because the bad boy, Mars, doesn't necessarily care for the good girl. It just wants to have fun from it. It just wants to benefit from it, right? Because Mars, the planet in astrology, does not enjoy Venus. It sees Venus as its enemy, whereas Venus accepts Mars, that is neutral towards Mars, doesn't mind Mars. So now in a relationship, it plays exactly like how I'm talking about bad boy and good girl. In the first a year or a few months, you guys are gonna be excited. The good girl is gonna be so excited to experiment all the bad things that this bad boy is coming with, the thrilling experiences, doing bad things, jumping fences, going into places where you're not supposed to go, right? And in the long term, the bad boy is going to be a bad boy, is going to remain a bad boy, but your good girl traits are being diminished here, literally are being cut, because Mars represents cutting as well. They're being destroyed because Mars represents destroying as well. So this fast food astrology trait that makes a lot of people excited is dangerous. So for me, it's a number one or even number two, but like it's in my top 5 of the bad Synastry aspect. Now, when does it become good? I enjoy and love it and accept it when I see it in an opposition, right? Rather than a conjunction. I'd rather have Mars opposite Venus here, because what it means is that when it's in an opposition, it means that you will always have that wonder about the capabilities and the capacity of the other planet, but you're not so close to it that it affects your life. Right? So you're always giving each other the sexy vibe, sexy attraction going on in the relationship without harming each other. Therefore, the Mars energy never gets a chance to closely destroy the qualities of Venus here. The Mars partner does not get to affect the health, the beauty, the money, the affection, how it's given or its expression of Venus here, right? But then that vibe of, ooh, I find you attractive, ooh, I find you sexy, ooh, I find you this, it's always going to be there because it's an opposition. They're facing each other, right? So you want that. That's the spark that you should be looking for, not a conjunction, because a conjunction is going to destroy this relationship sooner or later, depending on the degrees, like I said, but for sure. Right, so that would be my preference. And and then it comes to also Saturn and Moon. As I said earlier on, I place it as a yes for long-term commitment if you really just want to be forever entangled with someone. But then it's also not so nice, conjunction. If it's a conjunction, why? Similar explanation. The Saturn does not enjoy the behavior of Moon. Moon doesn't mind. Moon is neutral towards Saturn, but the Saturn, it gets annoyed about the emotions, the emotional expressions. It gets annoyed about the changing moods. It gets annoyed about the indecisiveness, and it also gets annoyed about possibilities of wanting to be here and there tomorrow, here today, there tomorrow, right? So it kind of like brings out a lot of insecurities for both partners and a lot of questioning about each other's behaviors internally. Each person is like doubting, and in such a conjunction both partners will feel it, but in different ways, the irritation and annoyance. And for some reason both partners will blame each other. Even the Moon partner will blame the Saturnian energy and be like, oh my gosh, my Saturn is always closed up, always on guard, defensive, and all of that. But then the Saturnian energy is just thinking, why are you not stable about your decision? You're committing to me today, you're changing your mind tomorrow, you're committing me to me today, and so on, right? So we have that problem when it comes to Moon conjunct Saturn. And similarly, I would prefer it in an opposition sign here, Moon and Saturn. And this particular question, I got it yesterday, which made me want to just answer people's questions, right? So that too, Moon and Ketu, same vibes, or Moon and Venus. Although I say Ketu and Venus they give you selfless love, but then it's one-sided, because the Ketu person here is here to enjoy the Venusian expressions without necessarily being committed to express it back because of the karmic nature. right? So because we are human, we don't understand everything from the cosmos. So the Venus partner could feel irritated, could feel like they investing themselves without any return, could feel like they're doing too much for this person who never shows any interest, and at times who doesn't even say thank you back, like they don't care, right? So it's like pouring water into a broken glass. Basically, you just pour. You don't see it filling up. You don't see it being retained for you to enjoy. So it's like that. So it's quite painful as well when you see Ketu with Venus as Ketu with her moon as well. Right. So that would be another bad, so to speak. Even though generally. On the cosmos, when it comes to the cosmos and karma, we just attaining what we need to attain for our souls to revolve. But on a human form, we feel pain, we feel frustration because we're only human. We don't have the insight of the soul karmas and all of these things. So of course we're going to feel the pain and say it's bad. Anyway, so the last question that I want to do today is a question that I have dealt with it before, because I made a video, and from that video I lost, I think, almost 100 followers like the same day. It was a content or topic of soulmate connection, and I had said that I don't believe in the soulmate phenomena, right? Because for me, everyone, okay, if I have to say it in a diplomatic way, let me use my Venus and be very diplomatic. I would say that then everyone that you connect with is your soulmate, right? That's the diplomatic way I can answer this, is that everyone is your soulmate. Everyone you talk to or you connected to is your soulmate. Your parents are your soulmate. Your best friends are your soulmate. Your children are your soulmate, right? If we have to accept the term and be politically correct, then I would just say everyone that is close to you is your soulmate, is here because it's signed a contract from the soul level. You signed a contract with everyone that you connected to. You guys, when you were up there in the cosmos, you decided, okay, we're gonna go down there. I'm gonna be your mom. I'm gonna be your lover. I'm gonna be your child. I'm gonna be your neighbor that is gonna irritate you. Or I'm gonna be your neighbor that is gonna save you when you are in danger. So all these people, you signed contracts with them, with their souls. Your soul signed contracts with all of these people that you see on a daily basis, that you connect with, or even if you don't see them on a daily basis, maybe it's somebody who's going to save your life when you have a car accident and no one is there. They save your life because it's the contract that you signed before you came here. So I can say that is your soulmate. So I don't believe that a soulmate is just somebody who shares your bed with you. Then you say, oh, just because I sleep with them, they're my soulmate. No, everyone is here to assist your soul, to support your soul, for it to get its purpose in life, to get its lessons that is here to learn, right? So if I have to be politically correct and answer this question, everyone that is helping your soul to revolve, to experiment, even if they're hurting you, they still your soulmate, because you signed a contract with them. Your soul signed a contract with their soul, and they agreed that I'm coming here to hurt you. I'm gonna hurt you so that you feel this and feel this, and your soul was like, yes, okay, right? So for me, it still doesn't make sense, and I'm sorry, I don't mind people disagreeing, but for me, I still don't agree that it's only somebody that shares my bed with me that is my soulmate or can be my soulmate. No, anyone then can be your soulmate as long as their soul signed a certain contract with your soul to help it in a certain way. That is a soulmate to me then. Right. So I thank you for your questions. I think I'm gonna just keep doing this. It's quite fun. And it actually just gives different topics to talk about, so I like it. Chat to you soon. Be into. Ciao.